Hi, my name is Bob Taylor, and I'm your host for this segment of Our Ventura TV. I'm here today with my guest, Monique Nowlin from Ventura County Area Agency on Aging. Thank you very much for being with us, Monique.
Thank you for having me today. I appreciate it.
Well, the first question that comes to mind with me is Ventura County Area Agency on Aging. Why not Ventura County Agency on Aging or Southern California? How does that work?
Well, that's the nomenclature that we use nationwide. There's other areas agency on aging, and so we all go by Ventura County Area Agency on Aging or LA, and we all have that nomenclature. We all use the area, but when we say area, we mean Ventura County.
Okay, now does every county have like a Santa Barbara County Area Agency, LA, and like Santa Monica, everybody has one?
Most counties do. Some are combined into more agencies, or they'll collapse them into one mega agency, if you will. So not every county has one, but most do have those area agency on aging or some services that they offer through them.
So how do you guys get funded? Are you like a federal government, state government thing? Or
Sure, we get federal funding. We also get funding from the county government, so from the County of Ventura, from the general fund, and we also always apply for grants and other additional funding to support the programs for the seniors and the adult disabled in the county.
Okay, now that leads me to my next question. Ventura County Area Agency on Aging. Everybody's aging.
We all are.
What do you define the seniors or people that you help?
Well, historically we have helped 60 plus, but of late we are now an Aging and Disability Resource Center. So really, we have a new saying, a new motto, if you will, VC-AAA, not just for seniors anymore. So we help adult disabled, 18 plus, and seniors, and actually their caregivers, because a lot of times the caregivers need the support in order to help their loved ones.
Okay, now Ventura County has over 4,000 nonprofits. You just mentioned things that has combined a whole bunch of nonprofits. You know, I know there's groups out there that concentrate on helping caregivers. There's a group out there that help concentrate on different things for different people. You guys seem to cover it all. I mean, is that by design, or is that just people coming for help and all that? Or
it is by design, and part of what we do is we, as the staff and administrators, have the expertise to run the ship, if you will, but steering the ship is really largely based upon our advisory council, whom are members of the community. They're representatives from their city, from supervisorial appointees. We have specialty committee members for LGBTQ, veterans. So we make sure that that committee steers the ship. So they're the pulse point for the community and tell us what the desired needs are for the community, because they're ever changing. And for us to know that, we rely on the advisory council to tell us that. So it's a form and function of by design and by what we hear from the different members.
So some of the nonprofits, like I was talking about, the ones that care for you or do this or do that, that kind of thing, those are advisories to you guys?
In some cases, yes. For some of the special seats, sometimes they're a grantee of ours, but in many respects and in many cases, we partner with those agencies to get the services out to those that are in need.
Okay, so you're one of the main resources for some of those little guys that really try to help people, the seniors, in a lot of different ways.
I would say yes, we're the focal point for aging in this county.
Okay, so at any time, anybody that's aging, shall we say, whether they have somebody they're taking care of, any kind of senior or disability, anything like that, you would be the primary resource to start with, and then you would send somebody to whatever group that you work with that could help that particular need.
Yeah, and how we facilitate that is through our information and assistance line. We have a line, 800, or a main line where anyone can call at any time and ask about their services or what they might need. A lot of times they'll call and they're not really sure what they need or what's available.
Exactly.
So we do a mini assessment, our INA workers, and we're able to ascertain what they need and where they can best get those services, whether they're from us or from other entities in the county.
Okay, before I forget, there's one question I want to ask, because you mentioned so many different things you're affiliated with that are volunteer organizations.
Yeah.
How many volunteers do you think, for all the things that you guys do, how many volunteers do you think are encompassed to take care of the necessary things for the Ventura County Area Agency on Aging?
Hundreds, and of course it varies according to the period. We have HICAP, which is our health insurance counseling program, where we provide unbiased counseling. So we really rely on our volunteers. We have a small staff, so we complement that staff in getting out to the community by using our volunteers. Our advisory council members are volunteers. They are part of the subcommittee that again provides the direction to steer that ship, and we use volunteer counselors. So I'd say hundreds.
So you just brought another question in. Insurance. You guys aren't an insurance provider, but you have.
No.
But if somebody has questions, they can call you about insurance.
Correct.
If they're a senior, even a caregiver, they call you and say, okay, I have this situation. What do you recommend is best? And you would send them to somebody, a non-biased person.
Unbiased, and it's free. It's unbiased and it's free to those that call, and that's the HICAP program, which is one of the many programs that we have at VC AAA. I like to call us the little engine that does. It's not the little engine that could. We're kind of a hidden gem still in the community, but we really do offer a lot of services to the seniors and to the caregivers in the community. They just don't know that we're here, so I always like to go out and talk about what we have to offer to the community.
Okay, so another thing you guys do is you're not Meals on Wheels by any means, but, and that's kind of a different term. Meals on Wheels is different in different places, but you guys are the funding house. So the federal government funds you guys for the meal program, and then you guys fund the meal program?
We do provide some services and some funding for the meals, but we also have a senior nutrition garden where we grow our own vegetables and we supplement the meals that way. So we have served over, I want to say 180,000 meals, and that's another project that a lot of people don't realize that we have, and it's a way that we can help the local community. We're growing locally and organically farm to table and supplementing the funding that we get with the vegetables that we grow to make meals more nutritious for the seniors.
So a meal that somebody orders, you guys have actually cooked some of the vegetables.
We have grown the vegetables.
Some of the vegetables.
Absolutely.
Well, that's amazing. So right here in our
and we're
county,
always looking for volunteers, so if you're interested.
All done through volunteers.
all done through volunteers, and we have a master gardener that does the planning and helps us to decide what we're going to select and what we're going to grow. We try specialty crops, but yeah, that's grown by our own volunteers, and that food goes right into our community.
So if I was home ridden or having problems, I'd call you guys and say, okay, who do I contact about getting home meals, and you would let me know what area covered me, and there's a good possibility some of the vegetables that you grew would come in my meal.
That's correct.
Oh, that's such a great deal. So the different areas contact you with what they need, the funding they need, or that kind of thing, and then you decide from there as to how you're going to do that.
There's a grantee process that they can go through, absolutely. And for the John Q. Public or Jane Q. Public, they can phone us and tell us what their needs are, tell us that they're, like you said, homebound, and we'll make sure that a meal gets out to them.
Okay, another question, it might be a hard one. Does everybody that you feel needs home meals, is anybody ever turned down?
It's not that they're turned down. Sometimes we don't have the ability to get them, if we're out of funding or if there's a waiting list. It's not the out of funding, but there might be a waiting list. But the lion's share of the people that come to us do get a meal.
And that would be, so if I was in Camarillo, it would be through whoever you fund in Camarillo, I'd be in their line.
It could be, and then I'd like to also talk about what we have in-house. It's called a senior pantry. Okay. So when you're coming through the INA line, a senior can also get information and assistance. So when you're coming through that information assistance line that gives you that overview of an assessment to find out what you need. If we know that you need food and you need food now, we have the ability, and we have a senior pantry that's run by our registered dietitians, so the meals that we pack, the food that we provide is nutritionally sound, specific to seniors. We can pack a bag that day and get food out to them right away through the social workers, up to 2 weeks.
Also, if I was to call, if I was to call whoever's provided the meals for me, and they said, okay, we got a 2-week waiting line. We're really sorry. We just can't add you till we get more volunteers or that kind of thing. And I was to call you guys, you'd run me out a bag of groceries.
That's correct.
Oh, that's really a great deal. So you're kind of hedging your own bets on the dollars that are going out.
That's great, and it's not. And like I said, it's not just any pantry. It's pantry food that's nutritionally sound for seniors.
And I'm sure because you're federal government, you have to be really careful about the food that you feed, just like the schools. Got to make sure everything is nutrition and everything else.
Right.
Okay, now do you work with groups like Food Share?
We do partner with Food Share on many occasions and in many instances. An example that comes to mind specifically is we have a senior nutrition placemat, and on that placemat we have what's called Your Plate. So it shows the senior and or adult disabled how their plate should look nutritionally. We have a recipe for one, or small recipes for many of the seniors live alone. So we have a recipe there, the ingredients list. If you flip it over on the back, we have information on optimal aging, because as you said, we're all aging and we all want to age well. We want to age in place. So the crux of our mission at VC AAA is to allow everyone to age in the place that they love and have lived in and raise their families. So on there we have optimal aging, we have some information on fall prevention, we have information on community resources that they might need in their everyday life. And then we've got, of course, our contact information right to our registered dietitians, who can also provide individual counseling, nutrition counseling if they need it. So that's one way we partner with Food Share, because we roll that up, put it in the bag of food that they share.
The way you talk, we have our dietitian and all this, it sounds like that'd be awful tough for that little group to cover 60,000 people in Camarillo, let alone all of Ventura County.
Well, that's why it costs a little engine that does, not just that could.
No, you're right. You're right. Okay, now, you mentioned a couple other things. Optimal aging.
Yes.
What does that have? I mean, I can see how we want to age properly. Yeah. Is that something you guys work on as opposed to just food and that kind of thing?
It is, and the Optimal Aging Committee was devised and was a brainchild of the actual advisory council. We have different committee members and different committees, and they made a suggestion, it's about these other, it's living within your means, it's a livable communities, but you know what? It's also about optimally aging. We want to focus on the positives of growing older and what's wonderful about that. So that committee was born of that thought process, and that's what we have now. So we have an optimal aging committee that focuses on developing communication pieces, working with the community on ways to optimally age, and featuring people in the community, seniors, that are doing just that. So we can, Jane Q. Public can see somebody that's just like them, that is volunteering in the community, that's doing X, Y, or Z, and really highlighting and focusing on the wisdom, the benefits of having being a member of the society.
Okay, so you mentioned optimal aging is one of your committees.
It is.
What other committees fall under the Ventura County Area Agency? I mean, I would think Optimal Living could almost be a nonprofit of its own.
Yes, but it's part of us.
But it's part of you guys. So
yeah.
What other committees do you have that are?
Sure. We have the Senior Nutrition Committee, we have Outreach Committee, we have a Legislative Committee so that we can stay abreast of legislation or pending legislation that affects the seniors particularly in our community.
Well, that's got to be tough. Everybody's got their own political opinions now, and you got to stay with just the things that affect seniors.
Correct, and that's what we focus on as we've become associated with adult disabled, as we always have.
More than just seniors, now you got to focus on the disabled
We're focusing on that literature. But we have several different committees that encompass many things. Livable Communities focuses on housing and transportation, which I would say that's one of the top 3 needs that we hear about on the information and assistance line is transportation. How do I get to my medical appointments? How do I get to just around town? So those are important issues. So we have many more committees, but those are some of the few that I'd like to highlight that people might be interested in knowing about.
Our time's just about over, Monique.
Okay.
If somebody wants more information, what's the best way for them to do that?
So the best way for them to contact the agency is to call 805-477-7300.
Okay.
That's our main line, and that all roads lead from there. They can connect us to them to any of the programs. We also have a website, and you can go on to Ventura.org. That's www.ventura.org/VCAAA, and that will lead you to our website and also all of the information.
Okay, and I'm sure anybody out there that couldn't write that down quick enough, somebody just Googles VCAAA.
Google us and VC AAA, and we'll come up. And I'm not talking about AAA, the insurance, VC AAA.
Right, but you do help with insurance.
We do help with insurance, though. Yeah.
Monique, thank you very much for being with me today. It was a great show. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Well, my name is Bob Taylor. I've been your host today for this segment of Our Ventura TV. I've been here today with my guest, Monique Nowlin from the Ventura County Area Agency on Aging. Until next time, thank you very much.